views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Coming up on this edition of Perspectives, a very special show for you. We close out Women's History Month. We are featuring a unique, gifted, educated, and an inspiring woman who is the leading African artist representing her beloved country of Botswana. She's a singer-songwriter. Lorraine Lionheart joins me next, and we encourage you to stay with us because Perspectives with Daren Jaime starts right now.
What's on your mind? Express what's on your mind. What's on your mind?
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to Perspectives. I am Daren Jaime. And of course, we thank you for joining us. As always, you can catch Perspectives here on Bronx Channel 67. I want to thank all of our viewers as you have been supporting us for more than 20 years as we bought this show, bringing you the best in current events, news, the people that you want to meet, and the people that you want to know about. As always, you can also stay connected to us. Listen, on social media. How do you do that? Well, you can go to BronxNet TV, and then also my personal page, Daren C. Jaime, on Facebook, and then on Twitter and Instagram, I can be found at DCJaime23. There you can find some information and possibly some inspiration as well. Well, coming up on today's show, we're very excited. Coming front and center, our guest today has a master's degree in music production. She is currently pursuing a PhD in music, and she speaks about 6 different languages and sings in about 17 languages. And she's one of the UK's leading African artists, and she's dubbed a music icon in her home country of Botswana. Now, she's also a specialist of music of Africa lecturer, offering master classes on African music to universities, colleges, as well as music schools. And this year, she's going to have a very distinct honor. She's been tapped by the royal family to perform at the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebration. And it's coming up this June. But for right now, she joins me here on Perspectives. Pleased to have Lorraine Lionheart here with us. And Lorraine, thank you for being here. Honored to have you here on Women's History Month.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my absolute honor.
It's an honor to have you too. And, you're one that's really a phenomenon when you talk about the fact that here you are, you can actually speak 6 different languages, but then also singing like 17, and your music, it's a little, it's fusion. How do you describe it, first of all?
I describe it as just African fusion because I basically use African music as the base, as my base. And then because I'm just so fascinated with other cultures and other languages, I tend to just mix African music with whatever else is out there. So yeah, I call it African fusion.
Yeah. And for yourself, as I said, you're a leading artist. You're out there. We'll talk about the Queen in a minute because we want to talk about the Queen. But I want to talk to you a little bit about how you got started, because to be able to get this far singing all these languages, was it something that you had growing up?
I think growing up from a very young age, I was always fascinated with, even in my little hometown, I was fascinated with the foreigners who live there, and I always wanted to know where they come from, what languages they speak, what food they eat. So I think that fascination with other cultures led to me wanting to learn more languages and wanting to learn about people from all around the world. So yeah, that's all it is really. And of course, I'm just passionate about African culture. So most of the languages I'm usually wanting to learn are African languages. And I just enjoy singing in African languages as well.
So as you grew up, what kind of music did you listen to get to the place where you have this African fusion?
I listen to everything. And sometimes I don't even always just listen to African music. I listen to a lot of American music. I used to listen to country music. I even listen to heavy metal.
Really?
Yeah. I listen
How big?
up
How big was country for you?
country. Wow, very big. I'm a huge country fan. I literally have
Really?
like over 500 albums of country music. So I listen to quite a lot of country music. But recently, I'm just trying to expand my music really, and just listen to even music from India, from Brazil, everywhere. And I think the beauty of music. This is why I enjoy singing in different languages, because I can just sit there and enjoy music from India without having to understand what they're singing about, but still connect to it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just listen to everything, reggae, you name it.
So you're from the beautiful country of Botswana, and for people, you're gonna have to look on the map to find out exactly where Botswana is located. But it's kind of close to South Africa, but it's a country all
Yeah.
by itself, and it's very beautiful. So talk to me about coming from Botswana, because very much a beautiful place. I know you got deserts, you got beautiful land there. The
Mhm.
Botswana influence, how did that influence you?
I mean, Botswana is an absolute African gem, and quite literally as well, because a part of our economy is sustained by diamonds. So Botswana is actually named the jewel of Africa. It's a sparkling little country in Africa, not so little actually, because geographically it's quite large. It's like a similar size to France, for example, but we just happen to have a very small population of just around 2 million.
Mhm.
But I think maybe because of that, the country has remained under control for so long. We're a peaceful country. And because we've never really had like major controversies, political or otherwise. So we are like the least spoken about country in Africa, because for the most part, if there's something controversial or negative in Africa, you'll hear about it globally.
Yeah.
Uh, with Botswana, it has so much positives, and it's just so unfortunate that countries like Botswana are not spoken about enough. But it is such a beautiful country with wildlife and beautiful, diverse culture.
It's a shame though, because when you think about Africa, many times people already have this negative connotation. Everybody's, in the forest and this and that, but there's so much beauty to Africa. And I know that a part of what you do through your singing is you bring life to home. You bring life to Botswana. You bring life to Africa.
Yes, that's the plan. That is the absolute intention, and not only just to Africa, but my intention is through my music to kind of appeal to people outside Africa, to make them a bit more interested in learning, particularly the Black population outside Africa. Making them more interested in learning about their heritage, because at the end of the day, even when they're from America, their heritage is still Africa. So I think that's one of my humble goals,
Yeah.
to just get people to want to know more about the real Black history, not slavery, and then we're here.
Right. Right. And so now here you go. You moved from, Africa, and now you're currently living in the UK, and you're doing some great things in the UK. How did the transition come about from Africa to get to the UK?
Yes, I've been living in the UK for almost 18 years now, so quite a long time. The UK is technically my home now, but initially when I first came here, I wanted to study just the performing arts, because I knew from a very young age that I would have a career in the arts and entertainment, but it wasn't quite specific, specifically music. It could have been anything, acting. You could have even been comedy, believe it or not. But yeah, later on, I just decided I think music is where I belong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, you're doing it. And as you said, you speak 6 different languages, you sing in 17. How do you go about learning how to sing in 17 different languages? I mean, I'm just trying to speak 2, but you're speaking 6 and singing in 17. How does a person get to sing in 17 different languages?
Wow, I think for me personally, I am quite fortunate because I'm from the Kalahari, from the Kalahari Desert of Botswana, and my mother tongue is called Kalahari as well. And Kalahari, I've been trying to research the history of where this language came from because it has words from so many different languages. So I used to like listen to people from other countries, whether they're from Kenya, South Africa, Zimbabwe, speaking their own languages, and I would pick certain words that are exactly similar to Western language. So because my language has so many sounds and so many different languages, it was easier for me to learn other languages and to sing in other languages because I can just pronounce anything. You give me Arabic and I'll be able to sing in it.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that's
So
where it comes from.
was it hard to pick up? Was it hard to really learn, or did you just was it easy coming to you?
To learn my own language?
No, the other languages, the other
Languages? No, I just pick it up. Yeah, I literally just pick it up.
Yeah.
I've never actually decided, oh, I'm gonna learn this language. So it just about where life takes me or where I happen to be living. Or I lived for a few years in Zimbabwe and I just picked up their languages because naturally I would be interested in people's cultures and languages. So I just pick it up.
So for you, when you took music was that thing that actually formed you throughout your, throughout your youth into your adulthood. How big was it having access to music, whether it was through school, whether it was through extracurricular activities? How big was music an impact on who you are today?
I think it was so easy for me to pick music because initially I just wanted to be in the arts because I can draw as well, by the way.
Okay.
Just about. I'm not that good, but well, I'm not bad either. So when I picked music, for me it was quite easy because having sort of lived in so many different places and experienced so many different cultures, sometimes it can be overwhelming. And I always found music to be healing. So music has always stayed with me, and having grown up with the indigenous people in the Kalahari Desert as well, to them music is not like a commercial entity or anything like that. It's something that they use for spirituality, for consciousness, and just for life and culture, for cultural practices. So it was quite easy because music was naturally a healing thing for me, and I just kind of felt like, you know what, I could actually get involved in something that may actually heal other people. And so that is literally part of the big goal when it comes to me making music. I dream of making music that is healing to other people in some way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And when you talk about that healing, music can be that, right? It's healing for other people, but it's also healing for you. I take it too, that when
Yes.
as you go through, how much of it is healing for you?
Yes, because I can be a little bit selfish when it comes to making music because I tend to make music for myself. And then if I can love it, if I can feel it and resonate with it, and if it can heal me, then I can only just hope that it can heal other people. So I don't tend to make music with like, oh, this is how it should be. This is how the industry is like. This is how it, certain things there. This is the trend. I'm not really into trend so much. I just want to do music that I can feel, because if I can feel it, I believe that other people can be touched by it as well. So yeah.
Is that the difference maker? Because I'm gonna take a break after this question, but is that the difference maker? Because as you look, and you will talk about it in the next segment, how you get ready to sing you sang for the royal family, you're singing again for the Queen, but not having that opportunity of, well, not even having the opportunity, but not going the traditional route and just being you. A lot of people will tell you to try and pigeonhole you and say, listen, we want you to sing this kind of way, do this. But it seems as though, you're pretty independent in what you do.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm quite proud of, I made a very smart move, because I realized when I started in the industry that, there's so many rules, there's so many protocols that you got to follow, and I just could not follow those. So the only way I could carry on being me and staying true to the heritage of my music is to actually study the things that I did not know. So I basically went into the music academia for that reason, so that, I could be more independent and still remain myself and still kind of remain in control of my musical journey. And then I completed a Bachelor of Science degree in music technology and business, music business. and then I went to do my master's in music production, and then I'm currently doing a PhD in music, but in the specific area of ethnomusicology, which basically combines the study of music and the study of cultures, and just perfect for me. So I think the decision that I made years ago to go into music academia helped me to remain who I am right now. So, and not sort of be sucked into what the industry requires or dictates I should be.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, listen, I gotta come back and talk more. We've got Lorraine Lionheart here coming up after the break. We're gonna talk with her because if I told you before, she's gonna be singing for the Queen, and not only is she gonna be singing for the Queen, she's already had some royal history as well. We'll unpack that. We'll share more with Lorraine when we come back right here on Perspectives. And welcome back to Perspectives. If you're just joining us, got a very special guest, Lorraine Lionheart, who's been sharing with us. She is from Botswana, currently living in England. She's been living in England for a while. So, I mean, yeah, she's had more than 18 years now. So that's a pretty long time. But I want you to know that while she's living in England, she is making the most of her time. I mean, she's got her musical gifts and talent. She can speak six languages, sing in 17. And guess what? It's landed her to a place of royalty. And so, Lorraine, I want to go back because, first of all, you had the opportunity to sing for the royal family, Prince Harry, and talk about that first, because how did that even come about?
Yeah, before I actually talk about that, I am a little bit disappointed in you now.
Why?
Because when you first started speaking about Botswana earlier, you actually said it perfectly. I was so impressed. You said Botswana. I was like, wow, this is great. It's not every day I hear Americans actually saying Botswana, right?
Yeah. What did I say now?
You just say the American way, Botswana.
Oh, okay. I'll redeem myself before the show is over.
Botswana with the Botswana.
Botswana, yes.
Yes, but I'm just kidding. But yes, going back to the Prince Harry and Meghan event, it was such a privilege. I was invited by the Commonwealth Resounds to do the event, and I absolutely adore those two actually, because they confirm my theory that Botswana is one of the most romantic places in the world. Mm-hmm. So when Prince Harry shared a story a couple of years ago that when he first met Meghan, he took her to Botswana just to get to know her and to spend time with her. So it literally confirms that Botswana is so romantic.
Yeah, I have to visit now. Yes.
But now you have to visit.
Yes.
But I was absolutely honored to do a performance for them, and they made comments about it and loved it, according to the Commonwealth Resounds. So yes, and maintain a very good relationship with the Commonwealth Resounds, and they've invited me to so many other events, and of course the upcoming one for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
So we'll talk about the Queen in a minute, but when you get a chance to sing in front of Prince Harry, the royal family, what's that like? What's the nerves like? Is there an amount of nerves? I mean, you're good at singing in front of people, but then now you're here in front of royalty.
Well, I don't get nervous, Daren. I almost feel bad saying that because it's kind of you can come across as arrogant, but I just don't get nervous performing.
Right.
I get a little bit of adrenaline, but it's mostly excitement, but not so much. I would say, "Ooh, this is nerve-wracking." No, not really.
Yeah. Well, we say it's not arrogant. It's called being confident, right? I think you're confident in your gifts.
Yes, I think the only time I'm probably likely to be nervous when performing is when I have to do things a certain way, somebody else's way. Like if I'm told, okay, this is how you're going to sing, this is how you're going to perform, this is how you're going to dance, you're going to, step your foot to the left and right. That is so confusing. But because when I'm performing, it's just about me and the music, and I just get into the music and just lose myself in the music. I'm not too concerned about, so and so is here, so and so is here, because I think that's destructive. So I want to give the music inside of me. I want to bring it out in the most authentic and most real way.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I don't really get nervous, because I just kind of cave in even on stage. Yeah.
You got this beautiful gift of the arts. I mean, you sing very well, and then you dance, right? And also, people ask the question, what about modeling, right? Because a lot of the stuff that you have, it looks, it's beautiful, and people say, is she a model too? So is modeling in your portfolio?
I don't consider myself a model as such, because I've never sort of set out to have a professional career modeling, but it's something that I'm open to. Like if somebody wanted me to model their fashion or whatever, and I'll be up for it. So anything that is just about expressing myself or expressing the arts, I'm up for it, but I don't particularly consider myself a model.
Well, you've done the UK, and you're also making your way our way. You're coming to New York soon, and talk to us about this visit to New York.
I am so excited. I'm currently working. I signed with an amazing team at Billion Entertainment and Foundation. And yes, I'm so excited about going there to the United States to meet people, to visit. Because part of what I do as well as performing on stage is I love teaching and giving African music workshops as well. There's a particular school in the Bronx, the KIP Academy, with Dr. Bob Lee as project as well. So I'm looking forward to interacting with the kids at the school. So I'm really excited about my New York trip coming up, and I'll do a media tour while I'm there as well, and hopefully meet you as well.
If you're coming to the Bronx, you have to meet me. We're right here, so it's automatic. And when I come to the UK, I got to see you. That's automatic too. So either way, they're here. We're gonna meet. So yeah, but I'm glad to have you actually sharing here with us and talking about your music and this. But I want to talk for a moment about your teaching, right? Because you are also a music teacher. You offer master classes. And what is it that you try to convey in teaching? Because so many people want to do what you do, but there's a skill to it. It's not just standing up and singing, but there's some skill, there's some study, there's some, there's an ethic that goes to that. So what do you share in your master class when you share with your students?
With teaching, I just kind of see it as a performance. I don't sort of see it as that different to performing on stage. You have a different audience and different content, but it's still in a way a performance. And because I'm teaching a subject that I'm so passionate about, which is usually music and culture and African cultures, African history, so it's quite easy. It comes natural to me. And I've taught at university level. I've taught even music business, and I've taught like little kids from as young as 4 years old doing African music workshops. So yeah, it's just something that comes really natural to me.
And you're an ambassador, right? Because I think in many times when we talk about international music here in America, we do know some international artists, and there's some international artists. But when we talk about from the African culture, you've really become this newfound ambassador, letting people know about the culture of Africa and the music that comes from there. For somebody who doesn't know, how would you describe basically that African music and culture that you fuse so well that many of us are not so familiar with?
Yeah, I mean, African music, unfortunately, the way the music industry is, we kind of just get boxed into this whole world music genre, which could absolutely mean anything. Like you have, for example, American music. It's categorized in so many genres: hip hop, country, rock, and all that. And when they do, for example, awards and such events, you know what you're getting. But with African music, people tend to forget Africa is an absolute massive continent with 54, 55 nations, so many cultures, so many different languages, so many musical styles. But so African music is so diverse, and even me, I'm still learning. I'm still wanting to. I've been to 27 African countries, and I still want to see the whole continent and learn more about our musical cultures. So yeah, when you talk about African music, it's difficult to define it, really, to describe it, because it's so incredibly diverse and very exciting. Actually, the more I learn about it, so many genres within African music.
And then so many different languages. I went to Nairobi, and I was in Nairobi for a couple of weeks, and there I found out just in there's almost like 21 different languages that people were actually speaking.
Some countries have like over 1,000. Yes, it's crazy. But it's just so beautiful to see how people still are well connected within those countries and neighboring countries. We have so much similarities, and I mean, we are one people at the end of the day. But it's just so beautiful, the African culture and the whole diversity is just incredible, and that's why it's literally one of my humble mission to share it with the world.
Well, we got a couple of minutes left, but before we go, I want to give you an opportunity to share. I mean, share a little bit about what we can expect coming up in the future and where people could actually catch you.
Well, what I'm hoping is going to happen in the near future, I am looking for artists, bands to collaborate with. I was actually going to do an album at the beginning of this year. I considered working on an album, but I talked myself out of it and just decided, you know what, let me just spend maybe this whole year or possibly even the whole of next year is just spreading my wings and just collaborating with as many people as I can. So if you know any American artists who would love to collaborate with Lorraine Lionheart, I am ready, and I'll be so grateful. Okay. So that's one of the things that I'm hoping to achieve while in America later this year. And everywhere, my website, www.lorrainelionheart.com, and I'm on all social media platforms. The internet is my home.
Yeah. Are you on social media a lot?
Oh yes, yeah, I use social media quite a lot because it's an absolutely great platform. I think especially for artists like me who wanted to be to remain authentically themselves and be independent and not be sort of dictated by, say, a major record label how to be as an artist. So we were so fortunate we're in the time where we can actually sort of get our music out there without the mega machines behind anything. So yeah, I use the internet quite a lot, and I encourage other young musicians who are struggling to like go out there, use the internet and to put your stuff out there rather than just wait that somebody's going to discover you or something.
Right.
But yeah, I'm everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, my social media platforms. I can be a little bit crazy, but I think I love the fact that being an artist, you have permission to be crazy.
You do. I mean, you literally have a license. But talk to me real quick. I got one more question I'll throw in before we go. is about being independent, right? Because that was a huge thing for you. You are where you are today because really you decided to go that independent route. Talk to somebody before we go about that independence and how it's important just to maintain it.
Yeah, it is a difficult, I have to say, I have to admit that it's very difficult to remain independent in this industry because a lot of artists have huge teams around them doing all sorts. But I'm glad that because I was independent, I kind of just focused on not looking for a label to sign me, but I focused on developing myself as an artist so that I can sort of determine what kind of an artist I want to be. And then when I reached a point where I felt like I can't really do it all myself, I was also quite fortunate to meet Bullion Entertainment, and they take care of everything management when it comes to Lorraine Lionheart. So yeah, even though I'm independent, I have a management team, and they're just fantastic. So I'm really fortunate. But yeah, I'm independent in the sense that I write my music, I produce some of my own songs, and for the long time before I had a management team, I was doing all the marketing and promotion and the PR work myself. But yeah.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you for being with us here on Perspective. It's been great to talk to you during this Women's History Month. Looking forward to June to seeing your performance with the Queen, the Platinum Celebration. Congratulations, Lorraine Lionheart, and thank you for being with us here on Perspectives.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely to meet you. And I want to hear you say Botswana right one last time. Botswana. No, not Botswana. Botswana.
Botswana.
Yay!
There it is. I did it right. Listen, I gotta get it right. I gotta get it right before I get there because I don't want to mess it up,
Exactly.
Thank you for coming to share with us.
Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Lorraine Lionheart, our guest here. As I said, listen, make sure you go to our website, check out our music. Listen, she's got some great things happening, of course, as she's going to be performing for the Queen in June, and then making her way right here to the USA, the New York, and then the Bronx, home of our studios right here. And so hopefully we'll get a chance to catch her then. But listen, it's been wonderful sharing with you here on Perspectives. Daren Jaime saying, take care, God bless. Share your perspective with somebody else. You just don't know. It might make a difference in somebody else's life. See you next week, God willing.
Make a difference in someone's life. Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective.